Good morning, girls. In last session of J2EE, we started learning the scope of JSP objects, and we also started learning um, the session tracking methods, right? So let us go through the scope of JSP objects. Here you can see the 4 different types of scopes for JSP objects are available. They are page, request, session, and application, right? Whatever object you are defining in your JSP page, that will be fall in any one of these 4 categories. Okay, it is depend on the type of object you are creating. If your object is defined through the JSP usebin tag, the scope of that particular object will remain for page only. If your object is request, right, implicit object, then the scope can be the request access from any pages that serves that request. Then session means the implicit object session. The session scope means the JSP object is accessible from pages that belong to the same session from where it was created. Application scope for object. The object can be accessed from any pages across your whole application, right? So these are the 4 scope of objects available in JSP. Now let us go through the session tracking method in JSP. As we have already discussed that HTTP is a stateless protocol which every time create a separate connection to the web server, and the server automatically does not keep any record of previous client request, whether the client is same or whether the client is different, right? If the client is same, then also it cannot keep any record of previous client request because it creates separate connection each time. How we can maintain the session between the web client and server, that is a question. Again, in JSP there are 4 ways available to maintain the session between web client and server. They are cookies, hidden form field, URL rewriting, and session object. The cookie is a unique session ID which is assigned by a web server, right? Web client, and for subsequent requests from the client, they can be recognized using the received cookie. The web server will automatically assign a unique session ID in the form of cookie to each web client, and whenever the requests come from that particular client, it can be recognized using the received cookie. This is not an effective way as the browser does not support a cookie every time, right? Then second way is hidden form field. A web server can send a hidden HTML form field tag along with a unique session ID for each page. This entry means that when the form is submitted, the specified name and value are automatically included with the get or post data every time, right? So this can be effective way of keeping track of the session, but clicking on a regular href tag hyperlink does not result in a form submission, right? If we click on a hyperlink, then it does not result on a form submission if you have provided one submit button with a href also. So this will not happen that the form submission does every time. So hidden form field also cannot support a general session tracking way. The next is URL rewriting. You can append some extra data at the end of each URL. This data identifies the session, and the server can associate that session identifier with the data it has stored about that session. It is a better way to maintain session and work for the browsers when they don't support a cookie. If somebody keep their browser cookie inactive, in that case URL rewriting is a good way. But here one drawback is that you will have to generate every URL dynamically to assign a session ID. Though the page is simple static HTML page, right? If your page is simple HTML page, still you have to define or assign a session ID for that page also, right? The last way is the session object, which we have already discussed in the previous session. One more time we are going to discuss it. See here, we have gone through the theory of session object, that by default JSP have a session tracking enabled and a new HTTP session object is instantiated. Means it create an object of HTTP session by default for each new client automatically, right? Whenever the client starts accessing a website, it instantiates a new HTTP session automatically. If you want to disable the session tracking, then you have to explicitly give a command. You can do it with the help of setting the page directive session attribute to false. By default it always remain true. You can give an explicit command with the help of page directive session. Here you can set the value of session false. The JSP engine exposes the HTTP session object to the JSP author through the implicit session object, right? And we can get all the data from the object without any initialization or get session method. Here you can see some of the methods available for our session tracking. With the help of session object you can access all these methods. Here you can see the list. Get attribute, this method will return an object which is bounded with the string name you have provided in the form of parameter, right? If nothing is assigned to this string name, if nothing is specified for this session, the object bounded with this one will return null. Set attribute method, this will set the value for a session specified with this name, right? And value assigned to this session is, you can specify as a second parameter with the help of set attribute. This will return nothing. Then get attribute names, this method return an enumeration of string objects containing the names of all the objects bounded with a particular session. This will return enumeration type of object. Get creation time, this will return the time when your session was created. It is measured in milliseconds, right? And now get ID method, this method return a string containing the unique identifier assigned for this session. Then next method is get last access method. This method returns the last time the client sent a request associated with that particular session. Again it is measured in milliseconds since the midnight January 1, 1970 GMT. Is new, this method will return true if the client does not yet know about any of the session or if the client chooses not to join the session. Then remove attribute method, this method remove the object bounded with a specified name from the session, right? This will return nothing. And the last method is invalidate method. Invalidate method will unbind all the objects connected with particular session. So these are the important methods related to session tracking. Some more methods are there, but we have discussed only important methods. Now let us begin our example. For that what you have to do is you have to open NetBeans IDE. So let us minimize our document. Open NetBeans IDE. Here we will create a new project, right, for our example. So let us begin. For that we will choose file, click on new, Java web. We want to create our web application, click on next. Now all of you are aware of all the steps how to create a new project. Okay, this is our program number 11. So here I am giving a name, prg_11. Choose an appropriate drive for storing your project. No need to check this boxes. Next, will not do any changes in the next screen. Server and setting, keep everything as it is. Click on next and finish. Here you can see program number 11 is created. You can close all unnecessary programs open in project window. Right now, index.jsp, as you can observe, this is our default page. Now let us switch back to our document for what we want to know about what we want to do in this example. Here the name of our file is main.jsp. Okay, main.jsp, the coding you can see what we have done in main.jsp. Here we imported one package, java.util package, which is required for date. Okay, so how we can do it? @page import equals to java.util. The name of our file is main. So let us create one main file. For that, right click on web pages, click on new, take JSP and give a name, main. Delete everything, we don't want anything here. Make your file blank. Here we want to import this package. For that we can use page directive, right? Page import java.util. Okay, then in the next line we will do some JSP coding. For that you need a scriptlet tags. Inside it we will create one object with name create time of type date. Okay, here I have given one comment also, get session creation time. So you will come to know whenever you refer this program that what does it mean, what is the purpose of this line. So you to give a comment, you to keep practice of giving comments, right? Get session creation time. Here we will begin our scriptlet tag. At the same time we will over it, so no need to forget it later on. As you can see, create time as a name of object. Okay, new date session dot get creation time. As we have already learned this method, with the help of this method you can get the creation time of your session. Whenever the client send a request for the first time, that time will be considered as a get creation time of that session, right? Then we want to find the last access time of this web page. Again I have given one comment, right? Then last access time we can find with the help of get access time. The second object we created with a name last access time, this will store the last access time of your web page for the particular session. Okay, as you know that session is a default implicit object of JSP, so no need to define it externally. Fine. So here we took session.get last access time. In the next line we define one integer value integer visit count equals to new integer 0. This will initialize this variable with the value 0. Okay. Integer visit count equals to new integer. Now in the next line we are going to define one variable of type string with name user ID, and it has initialized value ABCD, right? ABCD user ID. ABCD is assigned to user ID. Okay. Now we will check if this is a newcomer on our web page, right? Or he is accessing for the second time, third time. That we can check with the help of is new method. For that we will use if condition. As you know that this method always return a boolean value. Is new method always return a new value, a boolean value, either true or false. In case if this value return a true, means if the session is created for the first time, if the newcomer, if the client is accessing the web page for the first time, this will return a true. At that time we want to set the attribute, these two attributes, user ID and visit count. These two sessions we want to initialize with user ID is ABCD and visit count is 0, right? This will begin with these two values. In case if the client is accessing the particular web page for the second time, at that time this method will return a boolean value false, and this will not access whatever coding is done inside the if condition. Okay, this part will be skipped. Will come directly on page line number 18. Then in the next line, what we want to do is we want to set a new value for visit count. But before we set a new value for visit count, let us access whatever assigned in this variable for the last time through get attribute method. As you know that get attribute will get the value of the name specified in the bracket, right? Here the name is visit count. So get attribute method will access whatever value assigned to this session, that will assign a particular value to the variable visit count, and it is converted into integer value. Okay, it is converted into integer first. Now we can add 1 to the last value of visit count, as we want to count the number of page accessed by that particular client. For that we are increasing whatever the value stored in visit count with 1. In the next line, user ID equals to again get attribute user ID, whatever stored in the session user ID that we want to access over here. With the help of get attribute method we can access that value, right? And that we will assign in user ID. Now we will set these values for a session, for the same session, using set attribute method. For visit count we want to set whatever comes in visit count variable. Here the end of our JSP code, right? So scriptlet tag over After that we will embed the code of HTML. Head tag begin, title tag begin, body tag begin, then center tag begin, okay. HTML head, title, head is over, body tag begin, and our header is session tracking. Now here I want to create one table. Set the border 1, alignment is center, end of table, enclose tr and td in between table tag. Okay, now first tr will change the color of this tr, and here we want to define a 2 columns. Okay, so I took th twice in between this tr, session info and value. Then in the next tr we want to print the id and we want to print the session id. Okay, that we can get with the help of getID method. As you know that this method will return id, whatever id is assigned to the session, right? We have already learned in previous session. In the next tr we will print the creation time of session. Okay, so here I gave a label creation time, and in the second td I will print create time. As you can see, create time is already we got through this line, right? And with the help of get creation time, this will return a creation time of our session, and the value is stored in create time. That value will be assigned to create time that we are printing over here. Okay, as we have already created this object with the name create time, and it has a creation time of our session stored. Now last access time. Last access time, if you remember, we have already defined one variable with this name also in starting of our program. Here it is, last access time. See, it has a value of a session dot get last access time stored in it, right? Session dot get last access time, whatever time at whatever time the session was last accessed by a client will be assigned to this variable, and this we are going to print in this tr. Okay, then in the next tr we want to print a user id. User id, what is in user id? Let us see. Here in the user id we assigned, if you remember, user id is ABCD, right? The name assigned for this user. Okay, then number of page visited, the number of times the page visited we can keep the track with the help of one counter, right? Counter is defined with the name visit count. If you remember, we initialize this variable with 0. If our session is newly created session, then it is initialized with 0, and 0 is assigned to this session. Then we increase this variable with 1 whenever the client accesses the same web page for the same session. This will be increased by 1, and that value is assigned to this session visit count, and that we are printing over here. Okay, now let us run our page. As you can see, progress bar is running, Glassfish server is started, our browser is also started, and here you can see the output. ID is this, the creation time is whatever stored in your system. Okay, then time of last access, this both are same. User ID is ABCD for recognizing this particular user. Here the user is me, okay, and my name is ABCD. I have visited this page for the first time. Now refresh it. As you can see, ID will remain same, the creation time will remain same. Here user ID is same, but number of visits is changed. Okay, number of visit is changed. Refresh it. Okay, once again observe the ID field. ID will remain same, creation time will remain same, as we have already created the session when we visited the same page for the first time, right? That will be considered as a creation time for the session. Then time of last access, if you compare both these times, you can observe the change. See here, at the time of 22 seconds are 22 seconds, here 59. For the same user, number of visits are 3. Let me access the same web page for the fourth time. As you can see, the time is changed. Okay, ID is same, creation time is same, but here time of last access is changed. It is 9:27. User ID will remain same, and I visited for the fourth time. This value we got with the help of visit count. Okay. Now what is next? Let us see. Now put the above code in main.jsp and run it more than 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, right? And observe the difference. Now deleting session data. When you are done with the user session data, you have several options. Let me increase the size of font as it is not visible. So now it is clear. You can remove the session data with the help of several options. The first one is remove a particular attribute. You can call the method public void remove attribute, as we have already learned, right? The second is invalidate method you can use for removing your session, or else you can set the session timeout um, in your web.xml file, right? These are the three methods for deleting your session data. Whatever you are creating over here, right, it is by default, it will create itself JSP page. When the JSP page begins, it creates a session by default till you not delete it yourself through this. Not delete, but if you set the session value false, it will not create a session for your page, right? And if you are not doing this, it will automatically create one session for your web page. So whatever session is created for the first time, second time, third time, that you can delete with the help of any of these methods. Okay, first one is remove attribute, second is invalidate method, and third one is you can set the session timeout in your web.xml file. In this program, in our current program, I'm talking about this one, example number 11. Here we created one session, not we, but JSP has created one session, right? We defined a name for that user, ABCD. User ID for the session is ABCD. Then we found a visit count, whatever times we are accessing this page, that we will get through visit count variable. Then we printed all the values, right? Now how to destroy the session if our work is over and we want to destroy this session. How we can do it? That we can do with the help of several options. Here you can see the options. Number one is remove attribute, second is invalidate, and the third one is to do some changes in our web.xml related to our project, right? So in the next session we will continue with the same example. In that example we will delete the session created by us for a particular client request with the help of any of this method, right? So let us recall whatever we have done in today's session. We had gone through the methods: get attribute, set attribute, get attribute names, get creation time, get ID, get last access time, is new, remove attribute, and invalidate method. These are the methods. Some of the methods we have used in our example number 11, right? Which methods we have used? Get creation time, then get last access time, set attribute method, get attribute method. These are the methods we have used in our example, right? So you to try the same example in NetBeans. Ask me if you have any doubt or difficulty, right? This is an important question for your final exams, so study it thoroughly. Now in the next session, as I told you, that we will learn how to delete a session data. That's it. Thank you.